Welcome, everybody. I'll give everybody a chance to get on. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Okay, guys. So, welcome to another live analysis session. Today is the first Monday of August, Monday 2nd. Okay, so let's have a look at the markets and see what's going on. All right. Welcome to all my friends from all around the world. Welcome, students. Okay. Let's have a look here. So, I'm going to start off with the major pairs. Let's have a look and see what we've had. I'm going to start off with Pound USD. Okay, since it's the first on the list. And let's have a look at what's been going on in the market. Okay. So we've seen the pound have a drastic turn from bearish to bullish price action, which we discussed many weeks ago. So if you're following the analysis, you should have made some pips either on the way up or on the way down the previous week before. But let's just for us to recap over where we were. So we had this weekly area here. We had 3 weekly lows that the market needed to go for because we didn't have the return into demand when the price was going long. So this missed return into demand is market inefficiency. This is why this bullish trend line, instead of the candlesticks increasing in size over time, we saw the price decrease in size over time. And once it got to the all-time high of the year at that point, the price made its way for a reversal. And so we see we increased bearish pressure on the market. So again, even though we had this bearish pressure, the price was not done, even though it was within this demand zone, because we still have an unresolved issue here, which is the price on its way from this A to B swing. On the C swing here, we should have had a return back into demand, but we didn't have that. Instead, we've had the price spike now perfectly into this area, taking these lows. So fulfilled this 1.36 and even got back down to 1.35 right here, close to the lows or near the low of the year. And now the price is taking off for a long, which is perfect. Now, this movement here has provided a very good bullish market structure break. And if I go to the daily here, we can see it in a bit more light. I mean, even if you were to use a trend line, and you could do. So if I was to use a trend line here, for example, let me do this. So if I use the trend line here to demonstrate this from here to here, you can see that the structure has been broken of this bearish movement, bearish trend, whichever way you want to put it. So either way, we should be having some bullish market structure or bullish action on the market. Now, at the moment, the price has broken this structure. We're seeing a pullback, which is what I was expecting. So if I go down to the H4, we've reached back to this critical area now. So this is where it all matters now as to what we do. So if you see here on the H4, we have a special type of supply zone here. And we see on Friday that we've had a reversal signature and the price has gone short from Friday and continued into Monday. So we've had a nice reversal signature here. Price has pushed short and now it's currently hanging around this area. Okay. I'm watching out at this demand zone here because this is a critical one. Very important for the price. And I do expect pound USD to be on its way down for a short. Now, I think the short for me, if I was to take this short, wouldn't be the kind of short that's going to last forever, but rather I'm looking for a short continuation short. Hopefully we could get a pullback. Now, my idea is I was looking for a pullback here where we could get, let's put this here, some sort of pullback here. And then from this point, we could have a fantastic short. And the price could pull back down here. Now, I expect the price to go in a few areas. We have a few options for where the price could go to. Okay, we have this supply range here, which the price is broken above, and the price could return to and use as demand. We have the original demand zone, which is where the price took off from in the beginning, which is down here. Okay, and then we also have a third option, which is right about here. So we have a few options of where the price could return to, but definitely I would like to see some of these lows taken on the way down. And my expectation is to see that very soon, but it depends on how pound USD wants to take it. Now we do have NFPs this week, so we do have to be cautious on how the price behaves, but I do believe that pound USD is a short. I am hoping, I'll be frank, I'm hoping for a pullback. It seems like we've already had one back to this demand zone area here. And maybe the price is not going to really pull back any further than that. So this demand zone here, which was a area for bullish price action, the price has spiked into here this morning in the London session and used that as a point to go short with. So on the other hand, even though I was hoping for a deeper pullback, we may not get one. We may just get a break beneath this area and for a sell. So if I was to go for a sell, most likely I would be looking to go for something along the lines of this. Okay, pound USD is probably one of the nicest trades for the week. And I do think that the NFPs will definitely help. Now, the US dollar is on a bullish course, okay, for a while. So the bullish pressure or the bullish sentiment we have around the dollar could push pound USD down short for the week before we see the reversal the next week. So I'm looking for pound USD short. This is probably my favorite trade. I wish the price would push a little bit higher than this zone, but if this is the limit of the price, then we need to use the next zone down, which is here. Once we get a break and return similar to this, then we should all be looking for a short back down to very far target. So at least we should be looking for 200 pips on this. From here, I do expect the price to at least reach a minimum of this low. I do think the market will go for this low here because we don't have the return back into supply. So my first real target is actually, I would even ignore this second part, keep it a bit more specific. I do think that the price will definitely run this low and get about here. So that first trade from the length of what we have here. So if I put this here for you guys, this is exactly 200 pips. And then the deeper target is 255. But to be fair, 200 pips is fine by me. I don't think I would push for 255. It doesn't, the extra 55 wouldn't do much. I'd rather just close at the 200. If it does more, maybe I'll go for it if the risk to reward makes sense. But 200 pips is enough, especially if our stop loss is only going to be this area here, which similar to this, if the trade doesn't, if the market doesn't go any further than this, our stop loss would have been here, right here, 7 pips. So 7 pips for 200 and, or in this case, 244 is very close to, let's see, let's do the maths here, times 10, 20, 30. So it's like 1 to 33. So if you risk 1%, you make 33. If you risk 2%, 66%. So not bad as a trade at all. If you manage to get 2 dynamic entries, then you're looking at closer to 100% of your account done. So I like these kind of moves that pound USD is distributing this week, and I would like to take more advantage of it. All right, let's go on to the next contender for the week. So USD CHF, we were in this. Okay, the price is currently holding at a region over here, which the price has not been able to really go past. But from the H4, I do believe the price is going to go short. I do think that we're just having an accumulation in this area because this is an algorithmic price point anyway, and the price will do something like that. Now, the trade that I called on Friday or Thursday was a very simple break and return beneath this H4 area down to here. We managed to get a few pips out of it, but the market is stalling around this area. I do believe it needs to go short continuing from what I said last week, which is this reason here. So I'm just going to scroll back quickly. We still have the gaps here to be filled that haven't been filled. And I think the market is just playing hard to get now that it's going closer to this region. So for me, you can still see the bearish structure of the price, but there is a chance USD CHF might do this. If it does do this, this will be great. But I do think USD CHF might pull back to this H4 area one more time. This is what I was warning of. So for those of you students who took this trade, it was a nice trade, very simple. But if you closed and took the profit, you're wise to do so. Friday, I wasn't really expecting that much. Because of what pound Japanese yen did on the other hand, where it went short and did like all the pips for the day at 4 o'clock. I did want to give it the benefit of the doubt, but we just had a range, and now we have a smaller range today. So I think into tomorrow or even today, possibly, if the price could pull back one more time, then I'll be looking to take USD CHF for the rest of the pips all the way back down to. Now, our target is not the liquidity gap, it's the low beneath it. So the target should be at 0.89647 or beneath, just beneath here. This is really what I'm looking for. So I do think we are going to get this pullback. And once we do, we should ride the wave short. So USD CHF will be straightforward. Now, if USD CHF does do this short, it doesn't mean pound USD can't go short also, because we have fundamentals on both currencies, but there is a potential that we might see, that movement there. So pound USD, USD CHF, if one's going short, one may go long, but the US dollar correlation with the pound at the moment is not completely consistent because, again, the fundamentals are different. All right, let's go for Euro USD here. Now, Euro USD, I haven't really been meddling it with it much, okay? The price has managed to sustain a bullish movement from staying within this last principal demand zone here. So since the price has managed to push up from where it is and move further, it's actually approaching, not close, but it's approaching about 60% of the way by now, where we were last time, which is this zone here, which the price returned to and flipped to go short. Now, the demand zones managed to sustain along for quite a while, and it looks like it may actually continue. If I go down to the H4 anyway, the H4 looks quite, H4, no, I'm joking. The H4 looks quite good. We still have areas of supply that are being used as demand. And I do expect the price to really push back up for a long. I really do like the H4 a lot. I think it's a very beautiful time frame to be able to analyze things from. But if I start from where we are here, this supply zone here, I do expect the price to get back up here on Euro USD. If there's going to be another short, I do think you will need a good place of liquidity to go for that short. Now there's a high right here, so I'm expecting the price to spike this high and possibly push for a short here, and then we'll see Euro USD push short if that's the scenario going for. If not, then we would wait for a better confirmation. But from what I can see, I expect that most likely to happen. Okay. Now on the H1 here, Euro USD did give us a short structure and the price is kind of pulled back here, but I'm not going to put it past Euro USD to continue going long. For now, I don't personally like how Euro USD looks, and it's not really one of my top picks, to be fair. When I don't like a pair, I try not to get involved with it, because if I do get involved, I'm going to lose money, so which we don't want. So Euro USD, this is my projection, mate, primarily. The opposite of this, if the price wanted to break past, will be very simple. Once it gets to this H4 region, if the price would like to continue, we should see the break and return and a continuation moving forward. And then Euro USD will be making its way back up to these areas of supply at 1.21. But for now, the demand zone is holding pretty well. And over time, the liquidity is increased on it. But I still think that Euro USD is bearish to me from the monthly structure here. Okay, there's two sides to it. We do have from what we can see here, the bias is bullish. Okay, the largest parent swing is from A to B at the top here, and this seems to be the C. However, there is a chance for the price to push lower, because I'm going to put this here for you guys to see. On the monthly structure of things, there's this demand zone here, which I don't see any return to at the moment. I haven't seen the price get back down to these lows here. Not that the price has to, but I haven't seen the price get back down here for a little while. Fundamentally speaking, I don't think the euro is in a good place at the moment. And I'm going to put my Fibonacci here for you guys to see what I'm thinking. So we haven't even, for me, on a Fibonacci point of view, these price points here are in between nowhere. They're not really at any level at all. And at the moment, the price is battling between equilibrium and just beneath. So to me, the first pop above equilibrium, the price pushed straight back down, and the second time we had a pushback here, price is still making its way back down. So how long this long is going to last for, I don't really know. At the moment, when I look at the structure of the price, I'm still not convinced of a bullish Euro USD just yet. We're not saying that we can't have one, but from this monthly structure here, this demand zone is pretty strong and was holding the price from September 2011. When we had this massive break beneath, so when we had the crisis with Greece and the price broke beneath, here's the first return that we've had, and here's the second one. Now, this second return has entered into monthly supply. And if I go down to the weekly, we've had a reversal signature here into this area of supply, which will produce a short. We've had market structure break, we've had the price return back to the same origin area, and now the price is pushing short. So to me, when I look at the monthly structure, I'm more on the short side than the long side. Okay, if it does go long again, there are zones here. I mean, for example, on the weekly here, if I was to pull this up from the weekly perspective here, we do have a weekly zone. The price should be able to pull this back up and possibly get back into that weekly area here. But for now, I don't think that if there is a long, I don't think it will last that long on Euro USD. Still bearish on it for now. So this is why the long that's happening, I see them as returns. Unless the price really does something, out of that really strongly bullish, like maybe the price closes above here, 125, then I'll reconsider. But until it does something like that, I still think that we're going on our way short. I expect the first area for the price to get to be, or a very strong area will be down here at this pool of liquidity at 1.06293. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled with Euro USD, and I'm more looking for a short than a long. Okay. All right. So let's look on to USD Japanese yen. USD Japanese yen, I believe there's actually a trade on its way happening now. Now, USD Japanese yen, uh, we had a reversal signature on Friday, and it looks like the price might be returning for an entry now. So I might be able to take the long on this. My only concern, again, now I'm going to go through the analysis first so that you guys can see my mind on this. So from the D1 structure here, we had the low of last month taken here, and price pushed up long. Only problem I had is we didn't get the market structure break that I would have liked to see here, but on the H4, we did have market structure break of this area. So now the concern is what the price wants to do now, because the liquidity is starting to pick up here. Chicago's open now, so we're starting to see some action now. The Japanese yen, okay, has had a very strong, crazy mind of his own, and has been doing things that are not exactly in the norm of price action for USD Japanese yen, but it doesn't matter. But we've had a market structure break here and a pullback. Now, I know that the USD Japanese yen is going to go long. There's many features on the price from the highs, algorithmic levels that point towards the price going long. Now, this movement we had here, the price is now returning back to this zone of origin. And the question is this going to be an entry to go for a long? I'm thinking to put a low risk trade about 0.05 on this, and my stop loss to be beneath the wick. Now, if this trade doesn't work out, it would be worth taking this trade, but I do expect the price to actually push long from here. And I think we are having the return. So I'm put this here. I'm expecting the price to push it long here and then make its way back up to, these areas right here. So we'll see. I'm gonna, on the 5-minute time frame here, I had a gap marked out somewhere. I was looking at this on Friday and considering taking this on Monday. Yeah, so there is a gap here, and there's the 5-minute version of this zone, which is a beautiful type of demand zone here that I've got marked out, which I believe the price is going to go to. In the liquidity gap, let me just quickly use the minute time frame. It's not too far off. It's inside the area. It's just here at 109,390. So I'm looking at the price, and I do think that this pullback here would be a nice. It's worth taking this trade here, even if it's very low risk. Even if I put 0.01, it will be worth taking the risk on this trade. So I do think I am going to do so. So I'm going to set an alarm here. Once the price starts to dive into this area, I will take the long. Even if it doesn't work out again, it's a Monday. It's not the most markety day of the week, but it's worth taking a trade on something I believe in. I do think that this is going to produce a good trade. So I'm going to put an alert here. Yeah, I'm going to go for this trade and see what happens. I'll take it manually instead of as a pending. And with this trade, I do think that if we do get the long, because from this structure here, then this return here would equal to the price pushing long. So I'm keeping my wits about. I think that we are going to get a long here, and I'm willing to take this trade. That's all there is to it. So if USD JPY doesn't work out, then I expect the price to push lower and take this low. But if it doesn't, then this is a good trade to start off Monday with. So I'm going to keep you guys informed. A simple 0.05 for me is going to be good. And yeah, the rest should be history. So let's move on to something else whilst we're waiting for that to happen. Now, AUD USD started the week pushing long. We've had a very nice trade form for this Monday, and the price is pushing long back to supply. Now, uh, my leaders and already did this analysis last night together. We all analyzed this, and we have our markings here. I don't think I have it on this chart, or maybe I do somewhere. Do I have AUD USD already? This analysis was done by Matthew. So let's see. Okay, I don't have it here, but definitely this is what we were projecting to the pip, and it's done exactly that, which is fantastic. So let's see what AUD USD has to offer. I do think that AUD USD has a very good perspective, long and short. The key area that all of the guys were looking at was this region right here. Very small but very mighty. It's a very important point for us that we're looking at how the price behaves around here, and that will give us an understanding of the price more. There is a massive long that is supposed to happen, which is as a result of imbalanced price action from this supply zone here. In time, it should happen, but what we really want to capture is the moment the price wants to reverse. I do think there's still some downside potential on here. From the H4, we're still within, and in the H1, we're still within supply from here, and we've had a good drop from supply since the price used this area here. So now the question is, how far does the price want to take it? Now we projected the price to go long from here to about here. So we want to see how far this price action goes. If it does start to short from here, then we are expecting the next set of shorts to land. And from the weekly perspective, the weekly demand starts roughly around here. The price has spiked into it, so we could see the price pull up. But I'm expecting the price to most likely pull down to this demand zone here, the smaller one down. This is the last demand zone before the price change direction here. So I'm expecting price action movements to be quite strong for another short if the price is going to do what we believe it's going to do. Now, if this does happen, this will be fantastic. NFPs will be a good trigger to allow this to happen. We do have Australian news as well. It's happening at 5:30 GMT time, so it will be most likely that news will help to produce what we're looking for on the short or the long, depending on what the price wants to do. But this area here, definitely we are going to see the price return back to 79, but we just need the right reversal for that to take place. So with ADUSD, I'm holding my cards to my chest for now. I'm just leaving it alone. The only trade I know I'm going to take today will be USD Japanese yen. That's it. The rest I'm leaving alone. Most likely this trade is probably going to happen around 2 to 3 o'clock. The next trade now, USD CAD is a fantastic pair. It's done a lot of interesting movements now. And I'm going to take USD CAD from a different angle. So I'm going to use this supply zone here, which is acting as a demand zone at the moment. And similar to other pairs, we've had a lot of reversal signatures on a Friday, which is not the norm, but when it happens, you want to take advantage. So I see this reversal signature here. And for me, I'm expecting the price to return on USD CAD back to this area. There's many unfinished business right above here. Many unfinished businesses, if you want to call it that, above here. And so my first target for a long on USD CAD will be here. I do believe USD CAD has at least two larger longs to do. This is the first I'm expecting to happen. And the second, I'm going to explain this from the weekly. So from the weekly perspective, I don't think the bearish side of this market is completely done. I don't think we are in an area of large enough demand to be able to trigger a very strong long response. I do think a long is supposed to happen at one point, but at the moment, this demand zone, which was holding the price since 2015, the body of this candle has closed beneath it, so it's no longer useful as an area to be able to have for use for demand. So the next demand zone really is back down here. This is the next viable area of demand we can use, this zone right here. So since we have this area here, this is in the 1.15 region and 1.16 and just below. So the next area I'm looking for USD CAD to get to is another, I believe we have another 1,620 pips at least on this. And then we can start considering for a long. Okay. I still think that the market, this double top here is not correct. This is not the right type of, well, this is not the double top that should be sustained. So I do think the market will come for this at one point. This double top movement for the short that we had, the first being a spike in 2014, second is the coronavirus. These two spikes here didn't return back into supply. So supply is right here. They've missed it by a very long shot. So the short action we're seeing here, I don't think is the real short action, but we need something to trigger the price to get back up here before we see another short. I mean, from the monthly perspective, USD CAD's bias is definitely bearish. We have a large A to B parent swing anyway. It's just that this C point is questionable, and I do think the price will get above it soon. But that's many years in the making. So for now, if we bring it down to timeframes that we can deal with, this last supply zone, which was created at the 1 week before the end of the year, this supply zone, the price has spiked back to it very strongly to reuse the liquidity from here. And we've seen this strong short. But however, this strong short, I do think that the market would like to take advantage of another long here, just as a return before we go short. If the price was to break above this supply zone, then I'll be looking for some serious long action all the way back up. But since the price wasn't able to do so, now this structure looks very similar to pound USD. If I show you what I mean, inversely speaking, pound USD is just not completely the same, because the demand zone in this case in pound USD is at the actual is the first week of the year that this demand zone was created. But we see the price going long and then spiking back into here, then pushing for a long. USD CAD, okay, we've had the price pushing short, and then we've seen the price spike back and take many of these highs on the way up and then push back down. So you know what, this correlation based on oil, natural gas, things like that, I do expect the Canadian dollar to gain some strength over the US dollar, and so pound USD to gain some strength over the US dollar too. Similar reasons. So on the D1 here, this area I'm looking at, and then going down to the H1, I do think I'm expecting a USD CAD return here. If we have one today, then I'm looking for a long here with targets here. So I think I'm going to actually post this. Students, be ready. I'm going to post this out to you guys and be prepared. And if you want to take this, then I'm looking for an entry here, and our price action should be for a target here. So USD CAD and USD JPY are looking really, really nice right now. So it is a Monday, but I'm willing to take these on a Monday, but the market might be annoying. I think with USD CAD, the price has already slowed down, but this one is a good for a pending order. So I am going to post this one out here. All right. NZD Japanese yen, NZD USD. Let's have a look at that. I was thinking about the Japanese yen for other reasons. So NZD USD, if I go to the D1 here, the price has really been struggling to stay bullish. This supply zone here formed at the end of this demand zone has been holding the price. Now it's been, I think, 6 weeks now of just constant wicking up and down. Very, very small bodies, but very long wicks. So we have a lot of activity going on at this region. Now, NZD USD to me, from the bias perspective, is bullish. We have the A to B swing here. We have a C swing back down here. I expect the price to, from C, I expect the price to go to D. And then we have an A to B swing here. And then here's our C. So the coronavirus just provided a very good reentry for this very strong long. But we wouldn't be able to really call, I guess, to be very sure. I mean, from a monthly structure, we can be sure, but to be really sure, once the price breaks above this supply zone here, then we will be looking for a very strong long moving forward. So this is really what I'm expecting the price to do, and we should be seeing some activity from there moving forward. So coming back down to lower time frames now, AUD/USD and NZD/USD do move very similar. I think at the moment, this accumulation range we've had for the whole month, I'm hoping to see at least a bit more of a short before a long. And there's possible places. First one is very easy, is this demand zone here. As you can see, the price hasn't entered into it. It's kind of kissed it, but not gone inside. So I do expect the price to return back beneath this low at least. And very simply, if the price was to break beneath here, then we could look for some lower down targets back down to some lower areas of demand. I do think that there are some lows here that the price could go for, all the way back down to about 64,895. And then we have demand right here, which would be another fantastic, let's put this here, which would be another fantastic area that we can go for to make good movements here. So I'm expecting something along these lines here. And let's see what happens from where we are. And something like that would be a um, fantastic for us to be able to grab. So I'm watching NZD/USD very carefully, and I expect the price to give us very good movements. So this is it. Let's have a look at the news for the week, and then we can round off what we have. So let's pull up this. All right. So looking at the news for the week. So Monday we started off with Monday morning news, 9:30. We haven't had anything since then. We have a US dollar news coming out for the first one being the PMI, manufacturing PMI at 245. And then we have some news coming out at 3 o'clock. We do have the ISM manufacturing PMI, which is coming out at 3 o'clock. So we might see some activity in the US dollar, which is why we may get that push that might help us to get into USD CAD and USD Japanese yen. Into tomorrow, we have the most important piece of news is what I was talking about at 5:30 GMT. So 5:30 in the morning UK time, we have the Royal Bank of Australia's interest rate decision and the rate statement to go along with it. Now, I know the interest rate for a fact is not going to change. The Federal Reserve are not looking to hike interest rates until 2023. So I doubt that any other central bank is going to try to change theirs unless there's some pressing issue. But to keep in line with the Federal Reserve, I doubt that any of these other central banks will be doing such. Okay. Now, there is a medium impact speech from Federal Reserve's Bowman, who's part of the FOMC, that could move the market, but since it's rated as medium, I doubt by that much. And then we have the New Zealand dollar news. So unemployment rate is set to be, well, the consensus is less than expected, and employment change to have increased by 0.1% in their population over quarter two. So if this does happen, then we should see some positive news on the New Zealand dollar. If not, this will help to push the price short. All right. We have, again, a lot of good Asian news. We have retail sales, 2:30 in the morning GMT. And let's continue this. Let me pull up the full set of our news. Now, we do have NFPs because every first Friday of the month, we should know. And if you don't know, it's okay. You'll learn today that every first Friday of the month, we have non-farm payrolls, which is arguably uh, the most active, most volatile, most crazy piece of news to come out on the market that affects every pair. So we always stay wary of Fridays, the first Friday of the month. Not that we won't trade if we're in positions already, we just adjust accordingly. So here we go. So bringing up the rest of the results. So we have Euro news in the morning, retail sales. Okay. Now, if you notice, these kind of pieces of news come out at the same time. PMIs always come out first week of the month. Retail sales also. This is the cycle of what we see. Okay. Now it seems like we have another speech here from Clarida at 3 o'clock, and we also have the ISM services PMI. So we have a few PMI now. Also, we have the ADP results at 1:15. Now the ADP, okay, is the largest payroll company in America. So with the ADP results, it's kind of like a mini NFP. So for those of you who are a bit more know about NFPs a bit more, okay, the non-farm payrolls is the calculation of any new additions or reductions in the number of payrolls, which means more employment, which means the labor force is better or worse, which helps to have a good picture of the economy, of not the only picture, but a very good understanding of where the economy is at. Because if there's more hiring, that means businesses are doing well, more money is coming in, and etc. Now the ADP, because they're the largest, okay, they're the largest employment payroll service. Okay, now because if you think of it this way, they're a large sample size compared to the population. So if their results, for example, show a positive increase or negative increase, then it helps for you to have a good picture of possibly what the NFPs will be. Now, it's not always accurate. Sometimes their numbers go up, but the overall NFPs are bad or worse than expected. But the ADP, because they have such a large sample size compared to the entire NFPs, you have the chance to be able to have a pre-NFP, and this does move the market because many investors, many different countries, and parties involved in the market, if they see that the ADP is positive, then they expect the NFPs to also be positive. And we can look at what happened last month. So we had 692, which was the last month. Okay, and the NFPs for last month, let's go to Friday quickly. Where is it? Was 850. Okay, so 850. Okay, this number 850 was better than expected. Okay, I remember because I traded it. All right, and this number also was better than expected too. So you can see here that 850 compared to 692. So there's not that many. The ADP takes up a large percentage of the entire NFP. So you can really use this result to know what the NFPs are going to do 2 days beforehand, along with technical analysis. Okay, so keep your eye on that for Wednesday. On Thursday, again, we have more Australian news. So we have the trade balance, and this will let us know whether they're in surplus or in. Now, quickly, if you're not too sure what trade balance is, I might as well just quickly run it through it. So every country imports and exports something. Okay, that's how every country makes money and builds an economy. Now, if you're in surplus, it means that your exports, okay, or your imports to your country are less than your exports out. So you selling more than you're buying in, which is good. Okay. Now, if it's the reverse and you're in a negative or in a deficit, that means that you're importing more than you actually export, which is bad for the country's economy over time. Okay. That's what it means. Now, somewhere like Australia that has heavy agriculture and mining sectors, especially after the pandemic and the recovery, they're going to be in high demand. So I really do expect to see an increase in their trade balance. Okay. And there's a very simple calculation that's calculated, month for month. So this probably will definitely bring the Australian dollar with some bullish action on there, or maybe nothing at all. Who knows? All right, now Thursday we have the wall of fire, which is what I talk about every single time, which is we have 7 pieces of high impact news on the pound all at the same time. And then we have a speech 30 minutes after by Governor Bailey. So this week the pound is going to be going crazy. So I would say be prepared. This week is going to be full of fantastic trades. I'm looking to really maximize on taking advantage of everything that goes on. And we should be looking very carefully every single day because every single day is going to be crazy. And Friday, just to top it off, we have more New Zealand dollar news and we have more Australian dollar news. We have a speech at 12. So it's looking like an interesting week. And this is the second time in the year now where we have the Canadian dollar unemployment news along with the NFPs, which means USD CAD is going to be off the chain. So we have opportunity everywhere, guys. I hope that excites you. Okay, but it also means to manage your risk so that you don't blow your account and then you can't trade anymore because you don't want that to happen. But there's opportunity abroad. So I hope you guys enjoy this session. Take care.